Betsy DeVos, she's in charge of the Department of Education. Here's a photo of her to jog your memory. It was reported on this show yesterday. She had a tough time on 60 Minutes explaining and defending her record with Michigan school choice opposite Leslie Stahl. Here's a refresher. Take a look at that video.
Now, has that happened in Michigan? We're in Michigan. This is your home state.
Michigan, yes. Well, there's lots of great options and choices for students here.
Have the public schools in Michigan gotten better?
I don't know. Overall, I can't say overall that they have all gotten better.
The whole state is not doing well.
Well, there are certainly lots of pockets where the students are doing well.
But your argument that if you take funds away, that the schools will get better is not working in Michigan, where you had a huge impact and influence over the direction of the school system here.
I hesitate to talk about all schools in general because schools are made up of individual students attending them.
The public schools here are doing worse than they did.
Michigan schools need to do better. There is no doubt about it.
She knows that she has to keep smizing the whole time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. She has an incredible ability to smile through anger, like I've never seen before. I rank her #1 in the country in being able to smile pleasantly while being internally furious. Like, oh, you're right. You're owning me right now. I look like an idiot. Oh, I get it. You got me again. I don't know what I'm talking about.
That's it. It is the not knowing what she's talking about. And so she tried to defend herself on Twitter, and that aspect of not knowing what she's talking about comes through. Here's a tweet she had to defend her performance. She writes, here's what we shared with 60 Minutes, which of course they didn't show you. Michigan, like much of the nation, isn't doing well enough to prepare students. Scores are stagnant, students need more options, and we must rethink our approach to education. And she attached 2 charts. Those 2 charts, which we should have in the next graphic, they show the gray line is, and for those at home that are just listening, they have a line that represents the national public average and then the Michigan line, and kind of when Betsy and her friends get in charge of the Michigan education system, you see that Michigan's numbers fall below the national average in both mathematics and reading. And what Betsy draws from this is the conclusion that everyone needs to do better, so we need more of her policies, even though you kind of have a graphical representation that her school choice policies are failing her state compared to the rest of the country.
I believe that's what the kids at home call a self-own. Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, 60 Minutes didn't show you how stupid I really am. So let me take this opportunity to show you what a miserable failure my ideas have been in Michigan.
Have your opinions of her changed since seeing this response and the 60 Minutes thing, or does it just, like, how has your opinion changed of her?
So when we first saw the 60 Minutes thing, and then Anna and I talked about it earlier in the week, what came across to me was affluenza. That she's so wealthy that no one has ever asked her to defend her opinions before. She's surrounded by people going, oh, Betsy, you're so right. And what a pleasant smile, Betsy. Of course, Betsy. She never had to do her homework. Success was not tied to merit in Betsy DeVos's world or in Donald Trump's world. And no matter how many times Donald Trump went bankrupt, his dad would bail him out. No matter how many classes he failed, his dad would bail him out. So he learned you don't have to do homework. So as president, he doesn't do it, and Betsy DeVos doesn't do it. And so in the case of charter schools, the results are very mixed. And there's no convincing evidence that they do better than public schools. And on the issue that she voluntarily brought up about how they pulled public schools up when you take money away from public schools to give to charter schools, there she's flat wrong. No, it hurts public schools when you take money away from them, which is, and of course, right? But at least make your case, Betsy. And so what you could have done if you wanted to be sufficiently misleading is take one state that actually does well with charter schools, because they exist. And in that case, Arizona, like Florida does worse, Michigan does worse. There's a lot of states that do worse. Their charter schools do worse than their public schools in some of the instances, right? Or in a lot of the instances. But in Arizona, the charter schools do pretty well. So you could have just said, but Leslie, what about Arizona? Let me tell you the stats. Or after the interview, do your homework. You're the secretary of the whole department, okay? There's like hundreds, maybe I'm sure thousands of people working underneath you. Have one of them do the homework and then send out the tweet.
For me, this behavior just underscores the fact that she's a lobbyist at heart. Because a lobbyist doesn't ever question the goal. And the goal for her is to expand charter schools. Her goal isn't necessarily to do the best for the Department of Education, to do the best for schools at large and consider other options. Her decision has been made a long time ago because of the people she hangs around. That's part of that affluenza. And she just decides that my job is to make sure that I get this money from the public school system to the people I know who are asking for it. And that's what it is. There was one amazing op-ed that said the DeVos family contributed $1.45 million in the summer of 2016 over the course of 2 months, which means they were giving $25,000 a day to try to get more money away from the public school system and into, they become public schools because they're publicly funded, but to what you would consider to be like a private religious institution. And the trouble with that is she doesn't even open it up for the possibility that you could evaluate these schools properly. Because once you get out of the public school system, which you can at least monitor and test and see clearly into, once you get into the private institutions, they've made it more and more difficult to see how they're doing and how the money's spent, period.
And by the way, that's the second problem. She's a religious fundamentalist. So she thinks evidence, I don't need any stinking evidence. Whatever I was told by my leader is correct, period. End of the question. So don't bother me with your facts and logic. In fact, look at this one comment she made in that video that you guys watched earlier. She said, I hesitate to talk about all schools in general because schools are made up of individual students attending them. Well, by that logic, you could never evaluate whether charter schools do well or private schools do well or public schools because they're made up of the individual students that attend them. So you can't judge any school. How are you going to be education secretary if you can't judge the performance of any of the schools? You just watched a video by the Young Turks, the home of the revolution. If you'd like to get the full show, come join us and become a member. TYTnetwork.com/join.